Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Zakir Naik, my name is Umar Farooq. I was wondering whether buying something on installment is halal in Islam. For example, if I want to buy a car that costs 100,000, I can choose to pay 100% by cash, or I can choose to pay by installment. If I pay by installment, I may end up paying $120,000 or more. So is the $20,000 riba? A similar question is asked by Jamshed Khan from Peshawar, Pakistan. What is your opinion on the basis of the Quran and Sunnah about any car, motorcycle or house that a person sells on installments with greater price, and if you want to buy hand in hand, then its price is less? I am talking about bank. I'm not talking about bank, but any businessman doing this business. He's selling electronic appliances, following the installments with greater price. As far as the question is concerned, whether can a person buy goods, whether it be car, motorcycle, house, etc., in installments, and if the cost is $100 or $100,000, while paying an installment, he may pay installment, monthly installment or quarterly installment for a period of 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. And if he charges extra when he pays installment, is this permissible or is this riba? As far as paying on installments is concerned, there are various hadith which permits in paying installment. There is a hadith mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 3, hadith number 2068. Hazrat Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, she said that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he bought food from a Jew and said he will pay later, and he kept his shield as a guarantee. That means Prophet Muhammad, he bought food from a Jew and he said he will pay later, and he kept his shield as a guarantee. That means paying later is permitted in Islam. Further is mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 3, hadith number 2168, that Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, she said that Barira came to her and said that she wants to draft a contract of her manumission, saying that she will pay 9 waqiyah, that means 9 gold, so that she will get freed, and she will pay 1 waqiyah, 1 gold coin every year. That means she drafted a contract that for a freedom she will pay the master 9 waqiyah, that is 9 gold coins, and 1 every year. And the Prophet permitted that. So based on this, there is no doubt that paying an installment is permitted. There is no direct evidence in the Quran or the Sunnah that can you increase your price when you pay an installment. Because of this, there is one group of scholars who says that when you pay an installment, no problem, but if you increase the price in installment, it is riba. And they quote the verse of the Quran of Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, verse number 275, which says that they say that riba is like trade. So tell them trade is permitted, riba is prohibited. So these scholars say that, see, because they're taking extra amount of money after when you're paying installment, it is riba, it is additional, it is haram. However, the other group of scholars, they say And the majority of the scholars, they say that paying an installment and increasing the amount when you are paying an installment, it is permitted. Most of the fuqahas of the Hanafi school of thought and the Maliki school of thought and the Shafi school of thought and the Hanbali school of thought, all four, they say that paying extra amount in installment is permitted, it is part of trade. And they quote the same verse of the Quran, of Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 275, and they say that riba is like trade is permitted and riba is prohibited. What they are saying, that the argument that increasing the price makes it riba is totally wrong, because in trading you buy and you increase the cost. Normally also you buy and you take an extra profit. As long as the amount is fixed, it is permitted. So if you say that I am giving you a cash discount if you pay on the spot, and if this will cost you $100, but if you are paying an installment, monthly installment at the end of the year, you pay $110, that is permitted. If the amount is fixed and the installment is fixed, it is permitted. But if the amount increases, if you delay the payment, then that is riba. So if you pay an installment and if you delay in payment, and if they say that if you delay in payment of the installment, then this is haram, this involves riba. But just by saying that if you buy on the spot, you pay $100. If you pay an installment and every month you pay $110 at the end of the year, it is permitted, it is not riba. And they further quote the verse of the Quran of Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 29, which says that do not spend amongst yourselves on vanities, but rather amongst yourself you do trade and traffic based on the guidelines. That means based on the verse of the Quran, you can do trade and you can traffic based on the guidelines. And they say that Allah clearly mentions in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 282, that whenever there is a future contract between two parties, put it down in writing and take amongst yourself 2 men as witnesses. This is the longest verse of the Quran of Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 282. And when Sheikh bin Baz was asked this question, that is it permitted to buy an installment, he said yes, if it's fixed price, the price is X amount. If you pay an installment, you pay more. If it's fixed amount, fixed time, it is permitted. Those who say it is not permitted, they are wrong. And he gives the example from hadith of Bahaki, that the Prophet, peace be upon him, he told the Sahabas that buy the camel for the war. So the Sahabas, they go out and they buy a camel, saying that we will give you 2 camels later. That means they're buying 1 camel and they say we will give you 2 camels later. That means it is permitted. Same, as long as there's a contract and if both the parties agree, the buyer and the seller, if they agree and if it's a contract based on the verse of the Quran of Surah Baqarah, chapter 2, verse number 282, it is permitted. So between these, there's a small group of scholars which say if you pay an installment and you increase the amount, that is riba. But the bigger group and majority of the 4 schools of thought, they say that it is permitted as long as it is written down in contract, it's a fixed amount, and if there's a delay in payment, there should not be an increase in the payment. If these conditions are kept, then buying and selling an installment and giving extra amount is permitted and it is allowed by Islam.